What I really want to do now is really get you thinking about going back to you and your progress and really what you want to achieve, because we started off the day talking about your goals and thinking about, what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. And I really want to try and bring some of that to life for you and get you thinking on a much bigger level. Now, if you watched the video we sent you before this training, Dr. Benjamin Hardy, he was talking all about your future self. And he was talking about you are going to be very different in a year or 5 years or 10 years than you are right now. And I want you to just think about this for a minute. We're now March 2023. Just think back 3 years ago to March 2020 when we ran this event, second weekend, it was a very different world, wasn't it? And I don't know if any of you were here at that time, but we did the event in Earl's Court, Ibis Hotel. We had 400 people in the room when we were doing live events. It was just before, things started kicking off, and touch wood, we were very lucky we didn't hear any. We actually said to people beforehand, we said, there's this thing happening, and if you don't want to come, let us know, and if you've got any symptoms, make sure you don't come. Well, we had about 440 people booked. We got about 10% said, you know what, I'm not going to come. It was the right thing. And luckily, I don't know of anyone who caught anything as a result of that event, which was good. And we gave everyone hand sanitizer and everything. We were starting to get ready for it. And no one would have known quite what would come later that month and what happened, really. But certainly 3 years ago, life was very different. I'm sure you would agree. And I want you to think back maybe 5 years ago. What were you doing 5 years ago? So maybe March 2018. Just think back. What were you doing at that point with your life? Where were you working? What were you doing? You may not have been working, who knows? What was life like for you at that point? And I want you to look forward to what it's like now, and it's probably very different, and especially if you've been on this property journey for a few years. Carly was looking about 10 years to 2013 when she started Mastermind. Her life is totally different 10 years later from it was when she started. And your life is going to again be different in the next 5 years than it is right now. But guess what? You get to choose what your future life is going to be like. Or you leave it to other people to choose what your future life is going to be like. So I want to make you aware of that decision and that ability you have right now. You either choose what your future life looks like, or you fit into other people's plans and they kind of dictate what your future life looks like. Now I want you to think about this. Choose which you want, take your time, but not too long. Who would like to design their future life themselves? Yeah? I like the enthusiasm, Greg, I like that, yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. But that's the reality, guys. Either you choose what your future life is going to be like, or you just fit into other people's plans. And the vast majority of people, they fit into other people's plans because they don't know that they can choose what their life is going to be like. So your future self, if you watch the video from Ben, you will make different decisions. Your future self will make different decisions than you will make right now. Does that make sense? But you can be your future self now by making the decisions your future self would make today. Having the courage that your future self will have. And I really want you to think about that and embrace that, because you have control over your futures. What I'd like you to do is just for a minute, I'd like you to take, in your workbooks, take a bit of time to describe your future life as if it is your life right now. Take yourself 5 years forward and write down, but rather than saying, in 5 years, I will this, I will that, say, I now own X amount of property. I now do this for a living. I'm now, whatever it might be, I want you to describe what your future life is going to be like. I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes. We'll put a bit of background music on, a couple of minutes, and then you're going to share this with other people. At home, need to do this as well, because we're going to put you into groups and you're going to share this up. Because again, the reason we're doing this is because what you want to be doing in your future life might well be aligned with other people, and maybe just in the same way as Carly and Stuart work together, maybe you can find some people who actually you can work with and achieve this future life together. And doing things with other people in a group is much better than try and do it on your own. So just a couple of minutes music, please. I really want you to have this time. Please don't talk to anyone else. This is just for you to think about what do you want your future life to be in 5 years' time, but write it in the present tense as if you have it right now. So about people online with a bit of delay getting to groups, but I hope you still had a good chance to share. So who's excited about their future life? Who's excited about their future life? Come on, guys. I hope so. And guess what? It starts today. Whatever's happened in the past has happened. About going forward, and you making the commitment, and by investing the time and effort into property, and start getting those cash machines to give you the time freedom to do all the things you want to do. So you want to start thinking as if and living as if you're the future self. Start being that person now and doing some of those things that you would do now. Now, just to explain this to you, we generally are creatures of habit. We tend to do the same things all the time. And we have what we call our comfort zone. So this is you in the middle. And the comfort zone, these are all the things we do, things that you're comfortable with. And if you do something you're not used to, it feels a bit awkward, a bit difficult, you might be nervous about it, so it's outside your comfort zone. So you're operating here, you've got some nerves and anxiety and some energy and adrenaline sometimes. But I want to give you a little piece of advice. Your future self is always doing stuff outside here. Does that make sense? If you just do stuff in your current zone, your comfort zone, you will only be as you are today. So if you want that future self, you need to be outside of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone stretches. I know this morning we asked you to call estate agents. Some people didn't want to call estate agents because they're just nervous about it, because they're worried about, oh, what if I get a deal and I can't fund it? And I get that, I understand it, but I don't think anyone died, did they? No, I don't think so. It's happened once or twice, but that was just an accident, obviously. We still get people to do that, but and people are worried, like, oh my God, what if I speak to an agent? It's not the end of the world. So you've got to push yourself. And for some people, it's speaking to people about money. For some people, it would be getting on stage and being interviewed. But I just encourage you to push your comfort zone, because you know why? Your success is waiting for you just outside your comfort zone. So you've got to start thinking, what would my future self do? What actions would my future self take? How would my future self think? And start being that person today, and you're going to become that person far quicker, if that makes sense. But really important. So, the next thing I want to share with you, and this kind of all links into your comfort zone and links into your future self, is the importance of environment. I mentioned earlier, in the year 2000, I went to my first Tony Robbins event. And it really opened my mind, got me realizing that actually we all have control to a certain extent of what happens in our future. We need to accept personal responsibility for our future and stop blaming other things and other people. We get to choose what happens to us. And sometimes things happen to us in our life, but actually a great rephrase of that is things don't happen to you, they happen for you. And sometimes those are, at the time, not very pleasant experiences, but it's about the meaning we give to things and what we choose to do moving forward. And one of the things that Tony talks about, and one of the reasons I thought, right, I'm going to sign up for this university mastery, and I didn't know, I was still working at Cadbury's, and me spending $10,000 on a year of course, it was 3 courses, but I had to fly to, one of them was in London, the Wealth Mastery was in London. I had to fly to Miami, and I had to fly to Hawaii. And not only do you pay for the $10,000 of the course, you've got to pay for the flights and accommodation and food and everything as well. And that was way out my comfort zone. But I had been fired up, and I realized I wanted to have a better life. I was okay plodding along, but I thought I could do so much more. And I pushed myself outside my comfort zone. And the reason I did that, because Tony says, look, if you want to become fit and healthy, right? If you want to become a bodybuilder like Jay over there, right? You can't just, we all know Jay, right? You can't just go to the gym once, right? You got to keep on putting yourself into the environment. And that's when I actually started Mastermind back in 2007. I realized that knowledge alone isn't enough. And actually what we need to do is we need to keep on getting back into it, keep on being reminded. How many of you are feeling pretty inspired right now about your property and your future, right? Wouldn't it be great if you could do this every month? And that's what we do on Mastermind. So you've got to get back into the environment. So my question to you, to think about your future self, what would your future self do? How would they make sure they're in the right environment? Hey, it's Simon here again. I do hope you enjoyed that last video. You know what, watching videos is a great way to build your knowledge. However, there's nothing like attending a live event because you get to connect with a whole load of other people. You get the very latest knowledge distilled into actionable steps for you, and you get to connect and interact with me. We have a big 3-day event coming up, and I'd love to tell you more about it. So if you click on the link below, you can find out about our next 3 big day event. I look forward to seeing you there. So click on the link below. In the meantime, I've lined up another video for you to watch as well.